never seen that before in a race, so that was really unique to see. And welcome back, Cypress.
Thank you, thank you.
But yeah, the 360 Instaclip, that was, I mean, that was really exciting to watch. So
Yeah.
it'll be, you know, it'll be interesting to see if Torje can pull off anything else like that during the rest of this tournament. Wouldn't put it past them. But yeah, so just as we just explained, so both runners going for stick here. So excuse me, we're gonna see a much similar Aqua Escape probably, and I think it's gonna be really interesting to watch this run closely because when two runners of two very good runners are doing the same route, it's really interesting just to look at the subtle differences. And Torje is a little bit ahead right now in the forest, just using really clean movement. Habble is just a little bit behind. Really interesting to see what strats we see here in the Lost Woods. Torje using those side hops. And it looks like Habble will also be using side hops into a different setup here.
Nice
Oh, the
streams
the races may not be synced, but that's all right. Habble taking some accidental Octorok damage there. Torje just having to adjust. That's a really tough angle, and he's not going to get the red rupee there. Just an ESS turn, and maybe a little bit of RNG, unfortunately, not on his side there. That side hop is really weird, because sometimes you get lucky with the 2 ESS, and you get it, and sometimes you might not. That might have been 3 ESS, though. I think that 2 ESS is usually safe. I'm not sure if I've ever honestly missed it on 2 ESS, but that looked a little bit too much of a turn there. But now both runners pretty much right at the same exact spot. Habble
time of day is a little scuffed.
Yeah.
Okay, we made it.
I don't think that should be. Yeah, Torje had plenty of time, honestly. But yeah, it always gets a little bit nervy when the sky starts to turn. But yeah, both runners approaching that first Cucko, and like we talked about yesterday, I think this Cucko segment, it's such a long segment, and it's a segment that's present in so many speedruns in Ocarina of Time. It's just a really interesting segment to sort of analyze while runners are doing it and see, what little movement strats are each runner doing here. So, it's interesting. Like, I wonder, right? So so both runners here go to the left of the watchtower. You might see some runners going to the right. Habble is just going to make the ledge there. That's a little bit scary. But yeah, I mean, I think to be expected, both runners are very close. And yeah, not too much to split in terms of differences right now. Torje having to go and get that faraway chicken, so that's going to lose him some time. Habble with a nice jump. Good turn here for that chicken.
Yeah, so far pretty clean run from both runners, and looks like we're having like a few minor flubs with picking up the Cuccos, but I mean it's just And that's just this segment, right? Sometimes it's really awkward trying to pick up the Cuckoos, and this one right here that Torje is gonna have to pick up, really awkward, but Torje manages to grab it without, any issues, luckily.
Yeah, that third Cucko in the last 3 can be really difficult depending on how the RNG works. It can literally go like right in between her legs, and it's like impossible to pick up, and you'll automatically talk to her. So, really difficult, and it's also really difficult to just do this segment perfectly. I mean, you're gonna see a lot of minor mistakes in even a really good Cucko segment. I mean, there are just so many factors in that segment to consider that it's just so hard for, you know, to consider all the RNG and the movement and just the player execution. Very difficult to execute that segment in a way that uh, uh, looks completely perfect in a way, I guess.
Yeah, something to take note of right there. While they were both save warping, you could see that Habble, since Habble is on N64, there was no text for needing the classic controller, so she was able to just reset and immediately see the spinning Nintendo 64 logo, saving some time over Torje because Torje is playing on the Wii Virtual Console. So a little bit of the time that might have been spent on a trick like Mido Skip with extra pause buffers or anything like that. You know, definitely giving a little bit of an advantage to Habble here, but I'm sure both runners will be able to make something happen here with these next segments. Habble going for that side hop jump slash unbuffered is a little crazy.
I'm telling you, Habble came here to play.
Some N64 pause buffering happening here.
Oh no.
That we all know and love. Oh my goodness.
Both runners, Torje now getting Mido Skip. Habble is stuck on this 1 frame. And honestly, pause buffering on 64, pause buffering on GameCube, it's just not the same as pause buffering on VC. Habble really struggling with this pause here, and
Oh
that
my
might have been
goodness.
2 frames?
Yeah, it was. It was. That is so cursed. The N64 pause buffering is really, really bad.
I will tell you from experience, I've done that so many times, like on Corpse Push, playing on GameCube for Defeat Ganon. When you pause buffer a frame for that long, and then you pause buffer 2 frames by accident, it's so frustrating. Like, it's one of the most frustrating things in speedrunning, I think.
Yeah, it is a really unfortunate thing to have to deal with. You know, pause buffering tricks can be a blessing that we have the technology and capability to do so. There we go. We get the first try, frame perfect pause. Hopefully we can get this. Oh, this is a frame early, I believe. Yeah, there we go. This should be good.
Nice,
and we got it. Nice.
Torje about to attempt the what do you call this? What do you call the Skulltula ISG jump?
This is Skulltula, like the B1, like Skulltula B1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ISG B1.
Yeah, ISG B1.
Something
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Torje opting for fast scrubs. Yeah. Unfortunately,
that was a little bit of a tough camera and a tough position for Torje in terms of approaching the scrubs. I think just got up a little bit close there. I think he would have had it, but just getting that middle scrub to pop down. That's also really frustrating in this route, is when you get a little too close to the scrub and it loses you that much time. Very frustrating, because it's a matter of, you know, it's a matter of pixels, really. Or frames, whatever you want to say. But Torje now going into Goma. And I believe both runners will go for Goma Clip. Obviously, there is no option to go for double KO without the sword.
Yeah, I mean, unless Habble decides to get an extra stick and do broken stick on the wall, and try
Right.
and get double KO. I don't think she's going for that though. It would be much slower than just doing Goma Clip, and I know that Habble is a runner capable of doing Goma Clip. Having some struggle getting that backward side hop. I think it's something that doesn't get mentioned a lot, but backward side hops are not they're not very hard, but they're not as easy as most runners make it look. I mean, in general, speedrunning, I would say, is just not ever as easy as some people make it look. Whenever you watch like runners like Torje, or I mean, even like other categories like watching ZFG do 100%, just like the effortlessness of some of the tricks that are performed, like it is a lot of time and practice put into this stuff, and both of these runners here have put a lot of time into this route, into this category in general, so it's definitely showing today in the races.
Absolutely. It's honestly like a privilege to be able to watch some of these runners play this route, because it's this very I don't know, sort of this ancient manifestation of nostalgia in OOT. And to see, you know, some of the runners who set the groundwork for a lot of Defeat Ganon to be, you know, playing today and playing this route today, I think
Ooh.
is a privilege.
Habble getting very good pause buffers this time around. 2 frame perfect pause buffers for that, even though the first one wasn't successful. The second one absolutely successful and very quick. Very nicely done from Habble on that Goma clip.
The question is, can Torje go 3 for 3 on Instaclips today?
I think so. I think you know, no commentator bias, but you know, Torje definitely my goat. When I see this guy go for Instaclip, I know what's gonna happen. So I have full faith in Torje's capability here. Also, this is going to be a very funny thing to notice is the difference between VC lag here. This is about like 17 FPS, roughly, for Instaclip. As we can see, Torje, yeah, he's got it. He
Oh
went a little too
no!
far with the ESS
That
turns at
looked
the end,
really good.
unfortunately. It's rather that or he untargeted a frame late.
I think he had the frame. He just it didn't clip. Something went wrong in the setup, but it looked really good. A little bit confused, honestly, why that didn't work. It's so hard to tell in real time with Instaclip, you know, like. It's
Yeah, the way that I look at it is the B button. I'm always looking at the B button and trying to see when the untarget happens.
Yeah.
To see if that's, you know, what's going on. I mean, it's hard to see without sword because sword is like sort of the visual cue for it, but I feel like it was rather 1 frame late on target or just a messed up angle at the end. Torje, I believe, I was about to say, if I
He
know
went for the
Torje,
unbuffered Void Warp. He's
yeah,
going for Void
Torje,
Warp unbuffered.
yeah. Torje is going all in on this race, trying to make a statement with, you know, just absolute swag strats. Like, you don't see people go for that unbuffered a lot. Like, you don't see that. It is not easy, but I think you know, having an adapter for this makes it a lot easier to switch those angles a lot more comfortably. So that definitely makes like that part right there a little bit easier to do unbuffered, but still not easy.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like this race is just a little bit out of reach for Habble. Even with a clean instaclip, it's just not going to be enough. It looks like, unless obviously things can happen at the Ganon fight. But
I feel like there's less lag on this on N64. Why does it feel like that? Kind of looks like there's a little less lag than I remember there being. There we go. There's the frame.
this looks pretty good, actually.
That's a good. Yep, that's a good on target time.
I don't know about that second one. Yeah, I think maybe it was a frame early on the B button. I'm not sure though. That's tough. That was honestly though a really good first instaclip attempt from Habble. Like that was really clean.
For sure. Some bug drinking time. Let's go. Any bug drinkers?
Gotta know your backups. Ooh, that's a very tough rock.
Yeah.
This is that is also a tough rock. Getting the rocks, as long as the angle is fine, just the closer, I think the closer to that, there are pros and cons, right? Because certain rocks are better for your angle. Like that was a really good rock. Because it was a decent position in like the middle of the platform, and it gave Habble a really good angle.
Ooh. I don't know if that's gonna work. Yeah.
They dropped the SS.
There we
Habble getting
go.
Void Warp. And looks like Torje is about to start the fight with Ganon.
Looking like maybe a high 17 for Torje.
Yeah, another really good time for Torje. I think as long as this fight goes fine and Torje doesn't die, this will pretty much seal up the 1 seed for Torje. We still do have more matches tonight, but I think that's the way it's looking. But we will have seeding after the races conclude today for the bracket.
I think unless a tragedy occurs, I think that top 1 seed is secured for Torje, like you were saying.
A little bit of an awkward second phase at the start for Torje, but it looks like he has it under complete control now.
Just one more hit to secure this victory for Torje. And it's looking like
I just want to point something out, because the way that Torje does Ganon is the way that you should do Ganon. And essentially what I mean by that is that he doesn't move that much under Ganon's feet. You'll see a lot of newer players move a lot in terms of the distance they cover back and forth. And it just like, it's just better to move basically as the less you move, the better. Because the more you go out like into Ganon's melee range, it's just more dangerous, and it's gonna be, if you do it the right way, you won't provoke the spinning from Ganon. I think some people might think, well, if you're too under his feet, if you're not covering a lot of distance, are you gonna make him spin? There's a way to be in front of him without, necessarily being in that range, and sort of moving back and forth in a controlled and short manner is really how you want to do that Ganon fight. But yeah, that 1730, I think that is gonna get that 1 seed for Torje, who really sent it. We've seen pretty much, I think, we've seen a lot of runners come out and just full send strats, which has been really fun to watch and really entertaining. We've seen some runners play a little bit more safe with their strats and be very consistent, and that's also been entertaining as well. We've seen some different styles of play in these group stage matches, and it's been very interesting to just watch, the races, the matchups, and sort of envision how the bracket might unfold, and just to see how these players compete.
Habble getting the backflip there. That's really nice. The backflip actually just pushes you. I don't know if it's actually going to help Habble. Yeah, it barely helps a little bit there for Habble, but one thing to note about that backflip is it is a really tight timing, and essentially the idea for it is that you just want to push Link a little bit further in front of Ganon so that you have less time to walk to the Master Sword to collect it to get back into the fight sooner. So it does save a little bit of time. I guess it's not the end of the world if you don't get it, but it is about a roll's length away that it would save. So I would say it's totally worth going for if you can get it down in practice and consistently do it. But Habble closing out their run here.
Yeah, just around 20 minutes. I think it's a very fair start for Habble. I think there were some things in that run, like Mito Skip, that didn't exactly go to plan, but I think overall this time is going to be very sort of satisfactory, shall we say, for Habble for the first race.
And there we go. Habble finishing out, and that's looking like a pretty solid time. It's always great seeing the timer be like close to like a year. It's always fun
Yeah.
because it makes me think about what was I doing in 2012. And I think the worst part about that is that I was like 10 years old, and my older brother was telling me that the Mayan calendar was ending and that the world
Oh
was going to
yeah.
end. So
Yeah.
yeah, in 2012, I really thought that was my last year. So and here we are, 2024, 12 years later.
Here we are.